they go about and preach, it's not what they teach, and no one seems to care. The whole world lives in fear, just despair everywhere.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Rasulullah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, la ilaha illallah. In the name of Allah, in the name of the Almighty God, most gracious and most merciful. All praise is due to the Almighty God, the beneficent and the merciful, the creator of all we see, the creator of all that we don't see. I greet you, my brothers and sisters, on behalf of the mosque and on behalf of our religious planning council. I greet you with the greetings of peace. Peace be unto you, to my Christian believing and unbelieving brothers and sisters. The same goes for my Hindu brothers and sisters, the believers and the unbelievers. Namaste. To my Rastafarian brothers and sisters, Jah peace and Jah love. And to my Muslim brothers and sisters, to the believing and the unbelieving, and all other denominations, we greet you with the greetings of peace in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum. There is a word that keeps recurring as a question, and I thought of speaking about it. And that word is character. You know, sometimes we need to ask ourselves, what are our characters? What is it we are speaking about? Our attitude and our way of speaking, of behaving, that's our characters. What is it really? Were we born with these characters? Did Allah, Almighty God, create us with a character? Because we have a variety of characters in the world. People with various characters. And so it would do us well to try and understand if and where and how did we get these characteristics that we have. Then some of us assume the characters of others. Some of us are attracted to the character of others. Some of us change our characters to suit the characters of others. But what about the character with which we were born? God had to give each and every one of us a specific type of character to come into this world with. And that characteristic is indelible of us. But what are our characters that God created us with? Is the character I have today the one that God created for me, or is it a character that I have stolen and made it my own? Is that your characters that you have, or are they characters of other people? Characters that we steal from others and apply it to our own characteristics and then develop it as a part of our character. You see, there are many people who are dead that we knew, that we admired, that has left their characters with us. You know, many people. And so it is important at times for us to reflect if the characteristic that I have, is it really me? Then why do I get angry and then all of a sudden, after a while, I am okay with the person again? So it is not my characteristic to stay angry all the time. It's a part of my character to have, in some way, a relationship without quarreling. So that's two types of characteristics from one person. Can our characteristics or can our characters be influenced? Or do we allow our characters, our characteristics to be influenced? Well, once we allow them to be influenced, then it means that they can be influenced. And what does influence do to a character? When a character is influenced, then it is influenced by whatever means has been taken to influence that character, and I allow myself to become a part of that. But if that, what I become a part of, is not my character that I was created with, then I will always rebel. And that is why we find that sometimes you know people at one stage of their life, and then of the other stage of their life, when you meet them, then you think that they have assumed a different, or you will say that person has changed. That is what we say. I knew such and such a person, but that person is now changed. That person is not changed. That person has assumed their character with which they were born. They have been able to identify themselves with it. And so, brothers and sisters, we are faced with this whole concept of character and what our characters are, and sometimes you hear us boasting about it. I am not a person that likes so and so, or I am a person that do so and so. And you know, it's all talking about the character. Anytime you hear people saying those things, they're speaking about their character. But the question is, and I'm sure for those of us who believe in God, would know that God had to create us with our own characteristics, because we are all not the same. Even twins are not the same. You know, one can look at it in a matter of truth and lie, or truth and, because you know what happens in many of our scriptures, and you know, we have always been told that the one set of people who believe in this, that's the truth. The one set of people who believe in this other one, they say that's the truth. The other one that believes in that other one, they say that's the truth. Well, if everybody's book is the truth, then anything else are lies. But one of the truths that we know for sure, that we know of, is that we live and we breathe and we speak and we make sounds. And that's the truth. Who caused us to be able to do this? Those who don't believe, they don't know. Those who believe, they have an idea. But what we know is that there is a power greater than us that has brought us into existence with characteristics that are beneficial for our survival on this earth. And that is what we are using to survive, our characteristics. And sometimes when we can't survive as we want to, then we adopt the characteristic of somebody else. Or we become influenced because of our greed and our disharmony to become influenced into characteristics that we ourselves were not born with. It doesn't belong to us, but we adopt it for the benefit of whatever in our lives. And we become a lot of what we are not, because we haven't been truthful to understand and to look within ourselves for our own inborn characteristics. We have an inborn one. And that inborn one at times continues to fight in order to show itself. But the characteristics that we have adopted are so much, so many, that we can't, that inborn one cannot come out. It doesn't get a chance to come out. But it never sleeps. It's always that character that we are and with which we were born, and the understanding and wisdom that we can get through accepting our own inborn characteristics instead of adopting and not knowing what to do with the adoption.
Man create his own monster, weapons of damnation and disaster. No sign at all of human rights. The day has turned into night. Is racialism so, and segregation so? Which way is left to go? I don't know. Oh Lord, tell me, what about love thy neighbor? Tell me, what about he ain't heavy, he's my brother? Nobody cares a damn anymore. All they got on their mind is war.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. The truth. It's a very big word. And I want to believe that we still have not found out the meaning of it. But it's something that we ourselves, within ourselves, we seek the truth. And we can only seek that truth if our characters are designed to understand that the truth that we seek is the truth of life, the truth of death, the truth of sound, and the truth of light. So this whole concept of truth, and that one feels to themselves that in their book alone, that's the truth, then it means that in the other books, there can't be truth. So just read mine. You know, if that is the way we are understanding or compelling each other in groups to be truthful, then it would never be truthful to say that Almighty God only designed one particular book with one set of instructions that is truthful, and all the others that have been designed are not. That in itself cannot be true. But apart from that, brothers and sisters, the truth of ourselves are combined with how we treat each other, how we behave with each other, how we speak to each other. And in the places where we work, we mingle and associate with more and others. And every time and every day, there is truth. Somebody says something to you that you don't really expect to hear, how you react, how you answer, all of that is truth. And that truth, brothers and sisters, are also among those who we select and elect to lead us. One of the things that we are concentrating on from the Religious Planning Council is the fact that we need to observe the characteristics of the people who are requesting their assurance in the form of a vote for them to be accepted as characters who are capable of dealing with the situation that faces them in this country. We have to understand, like I said, there are those who are influenced into changing their characters, and there are those who hold on to their characters, their original characters with which they were born. And there are those who realize at times that they're losing their character, and then they fight to get back on stream again. Because the original character, whenever we are losing it, we become unstable, we become insecure, because it is the original character that makes us secure. And so we have to be able to look among the shepherds to see the characteristics of those who are involved. It is very important for us to know that. And if we are able to use our hearts to know that, it's very easy. It's very easy. But if we continue to allow ourselves to be influenced by the head into characteristics and into being characters that we really are not, then the whole nation is in problems. Some people are influenced into being a character that steals. Some people are influenced in being into a character that lies. Some people are influenced in being into enjoying themselves with a character that is corrupt. But there are those whom we are able to see and understand that they are characters that one might be able to realize some sort of godlike qualities. So as we are faced with another election, brothers and sisters, the characteristic whom we have to choose from should be very important to those of us as believing men and women. We have always been advocating a religious planning council, a national religious planning council for the believing men and women that associate themselves with the problems that believing men and women have within the various communities. And we have advocated that, and it is always good to be able to say and do. And so we're doing that. And as we do that, you are welcome to be a part of it, for it is interested in the welfare of the believing men and women. Brothers and sisters, as we prepare for the electoral process, we must be able to understand and to demand that the characters of those shepherds who are vying must be in keeping with the characteristics that we have been told about in our religions. Those characteristics must show for us as believing men and women. Believing men and women in terms of having to make a choice must be able to view and sense the characteristics that lead toward what they believe and the faiths that they have. Not one faith, but the faiths that they have. Because the truth is the truth. And we, as believing men and women, cannot hesitate to understand that if we are going to choose a shepherd, we have to choose a shepherd with the truth. Not even the truth of the shepherd, but the truth of us within ourselves. Regardless of what nationality and culture I choose, but it must come from within, from our hearts. That's the only way we will be able to have and enjoy some kind of justice among us. So we must contemplate, and we must contemplate with our Creator. And we can all do that. Right now, this is the time of Navrat. For our Hindu brothers and sisters, they do you well sometimes to drop into the mandir and sit down and listen to what the Pandit has to say. Because there is truth all over. Like I said, if this book you claim is true, then it has to tell you about that book. Or if you claim that only this book is true, then all the other books are lies. And that cannot be. So it's good for us at this point in time to seek even more truth as we are coming close to an election, so that we will not be influenced by other characters to change our characters as believing men and women, looking and seeking out those who believe, so that we can develop the trust that we need. The truth is the truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Assalamu alaikum.
Breaking down is a whole big runaround. A lot of talk is what goes on, while the world is left to mourn. Starvation taking toll, weapons out of control. The atmosphere is cold, oh so cold. Oh Lord, tell me, what about love thy neighbor? Tell me, what about he ain't heavy, he's my brother. Nobody cares a damn anymore. All they got on their mind is war, war. Tell me, what about equal rights and justice? Tell me, what about peace and happiness? Hey! They making new laws every day, and those of the master they throw away.